Moscow's summer of discontent city council election ended with a whimper, not a bang. But results on September 9th showed a weakening of President Vladimir Putin's base in Moscow after weeks of anti-Kremlin protests before the vote. Putin's ruling United Russia Party appeared on track to lose 13 of the 38 seats it had previously controlled in Moscow's 45-seat city council. That's despite dozens of opposition rivals being kept off the ballot. United Russia's Moscow candidates rebranded themselves as independents. It was an apparent effort to distance themselves from the party, whose popularity has been sliding. After he voted on September 8th, Putin shrugged off the controversy.
Можно в некоторых странах есть 30, 50, 100. Качество их работы так не меняется. Важно не сколько, а важно какого качества. Надеюсь, что нас достойно.
The opposition chose to make a usually dull city council election into a referendum on Putin's tight political grip. Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny accused local officials of using any means to keep his supporters off the ballot, including harassment. Navalny called on voters to choose any candidate with the best chance of beating a United Russia-backed candidate in Moscow. He and his supporters set up what they called a smart voting website to show which candidates they thought were preferable.
Любое снижение количества депутатов Единой России мы будем расценивать как успех.
Local and regional elections took place across Russia on September 8th, amid widespread reports of voting irregularities. The independent election monitoring organization, Golos, reported more than 1,700 election violations, including more than 560 cases in Moscow. Some alleged violations included ballot stuffing, death threats, slashed tires, and payoffs for votes. According to Navalny's team, the wife of the local United Russia candidate in Perm offered one-man booze if he voted for her husband.
Я паспорт отдал, мне там записали.
Что вам за это предложили?
А это 100 грамм спирту дали нахер.
The weeks leading up to the election witnessed some of the fiercest crackdowns on demonstrations in Russia's post-Soviet era. Riot police detained over 2,000 protesters and bystanders alike. Tens of thousands came out on Moscow's streets, week after week, to demand that officials allow independent candidates on the ballot. Authorities declared most of the protests to be, quote, illegal mass gatherings. Though the protests were peaceful, the police often turned violent. One of the current opposition members of the city council, Alexandra Parushina, was bloodied in an unprovoked attack by riot police. Opposition leader Alexei Navalny was released from jail on August 23rd after serving a 30-day sentence for calling for unauthorized protests. He walked out defiantly, urging his supporters to continue the struggle.
Я не сомневаюсь, что несмотря на такие вот в буквальном смысле акты запугивания и террора, которые сейчас происходят в связи с арестом просто таких случайных людей, тем не менее волна будет нарастать, и этот режим еще сильно пожалеет о том, что он сделал.
Several of Navalny's supporters were kept off the Moscow ballot. One was Lyubov Sobol, a lawyer who has presented stinging investigative reports on Navalny's Anti-Corruption Foundation online channel. President Vladimir Putin and his associates have often been the subject of their accusations. Sobol attempted to challenge the Election Commission's rejection of her candidacy. Officials claimed independent candidates had falsified the signatures which are required to run. Opposition candidates called that a ploy to keep them off the ballot. Security guards carried Sobol out of the commission's building on a couch after she waited for hours for officials to meet her. On August 7th, Sobol was permitted to address the Election Commission, but the debate with the head of the commission, Ella Pamfilova, turned chaotic.
Мы доказали многократно,
что мы собрали эти подписи честно и законно.
Я прошу передать. Элла Александровна, вы их не видели?
Значит,
Они были
пожалуйста.
подшиты к жалобе.
вы же разрешили...
Вы их не видели.
Вы пренебрегли, и вы не
Вы
знаете
повторяетесь,
процедуру.
я услышала ваш вопрос.
Судя по тому,
Вы повторяетесь.
что вы сказали, вы полное невеже. Я удивляюсь, что вы закончили с красным дипломом.
Вы говорящая глава администрации президента Нара Собянина, который боится нас, настоящих москвичей, которые готовы отстаивать свои права.
Sobol's appeal was rejected. Then on August 10th, security forces detained her just before she attended a sanctioned rally.
Это, конечно, такой режим у нас. Я не знаю, куда мы катимся. Ужасно.
Anti-Putin Russians feel they have more momentum now. The next big test, national elections to Russia's federal parliament, the State Duma, in 2021.